Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at another of the newer Attack Pack figures from the Mattel Jurassic World and Camp Cretaceous, actually, line. This is the Bumpy the Ankylosaurus. A huge thank you goes out to Semaj Larama for allowing this review to be possible, as this was one of the many figures that he included in his recent box that he sent me, full of really cool figures that I absolutely had no idea what I was getting. So make sure you actually check out the unboxing of that box from Semaj Larama that I have posted a few days back, and check out when I initially received this very cool Bumpy the Ankylosaurus figure. So again, a huge thank you to Semaj Larama for allowing this review to be possible. Pretty much your standard Attack Pack packaging there on the front, and then we have a shot here of the other Attack Pack figures in this wave, which is the Protoceratops, which has actually been released quite a few times at this point, and then the new paint schemes of the Dimorphodon and Velociraptor, and of course the only brand new sculpt that we see here, which is Bumpy the Ankylosaurus. So let's go ahead, break this packaging open, and take a look at Bumpy. So in our packaging we also, and it came with the tape, I ripped off the back, but we also have one of those little booklets that you get as far as these Camp Cretaceous booklets, but it's pretty much been the same thing with every release, so it's nothing new and crazy that I have to go over with you guys. If you've seen it once, you've seen it before, but you haven't seen Bumpy, or unless you've watched a different review on it. But here is the Bumpy the Ankylosaurus Attack Pack figure, and I must say it is absolutely beautiful. A really, really nice looking Attack Pack figure. Shockingly well done for being an Attack Pack, because you don't normally get too much paint application on an Attack Pack figure, but I feel like this is really nicely painted overall. An absolutely beautiful looking version of Bumpy the Ankylosaurus. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at Bumpy right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of Bumpy, you can see that the skin texture is really nicely done. I actually really like these kind of creases in the skin here on the underside and the chin area of Bumpy, but you can see the actual skin texture of the face is absolutely beautiful, and I love how they've kind of painted over the areas of like the armor with this bluish coloration, which looks pretty much exactly like Bumpy appeared in Camp Cretaceous. I really like that, and it looks so nice. They've absolutely perfectly painted that. Moving back here into the back of Bumpy, you can see some really nice detailing here in the armored back area of Bumpy, as well as the kind of spikes that come out along the back of an Ankylosaurus. They're nicely painted with a whitish coloration here on Bumpy. As we move down here into the legs, you can continue to see some more of that kind of armored area that moves down into the legs, those kind of bumps, which I guess is kind of one of the reasons why Bumpy has the name Bumpy, which it's bumpy everywhere, but you can see they are nicely painted again with that bluish coloration, beautifully dry brushed over. You can see a really nice scaly effect right there on the leg, some more nice creases in the ankle area, as well as a beautiful foot sculpt. Unfortunately, no nail paint, which I honestly would have expected that with there being so much paint on the figure as a whole. I would have really expected them to have painted the nails of Bumpy, but they've chosen not to. As we move back here into the stomach, you can see some really nice scale detail, some really nice skin texture here in the stomach region of Bumpy. Very nice underside as well, which has some more really beautiful skin texture to it. You can also see kind of like that speckled appearance to the dinosaur, just giving a little extra paint variation to your figure. There is the Jurassic Facts code if you would like to add Bumpy to your collection. But moving back up here into the rear leg, again, same deal with that kind of little bit of armored area coming down here with the kind of bluish coloration over top. Some more really nice scales there, nice skin detail, lots of kind of stretching and everything going on with the skin, like creasing and everything. You can see quite a bit of that going on there. There's the foot sculpt there in the back, which also looks really nice. Again, no nail paint. You can see the nails do have a gloss coat to them though, so they do shine a bit. And then moving back here into the tail, that really short bumpy tail is really nicely done. And I love that they've actually included that bluish paint here to the back, out here onto the tail as well, until we get to the club tail, which seems to have just the same coloration as we see elsewhere on the body. More really nice detailing here as far as the skin texture that moves back out into the club tail of Bumpy as well. And the opposing side is pretty much just the same. The only real difference is that this leg is forward a little bit and this leg is just back a hair compared to what we see on the opposing side. But as far as the sculpt and detail, paintwork, all that fun stuff, it's pretty much the same over here as what we had just seen on the previous side, but definitely an absolutely beautiful version of Bumpy the Ankylosaurus. As far as articulation goes, we have a swivel here in the neck region, as well as his ability to kind of look up and down, which really is nice. I love that articulation there in the head. And then you have the articulation in the legs, which can move forward and back, both the front and back legs. And then you have articulation in the tail, which you can just kind of position the tail wherever you would like. I know that the Attack Pack figures are pretty much just bare bones. There's no action features or anything, but I actually really love that, especially when you get some that have some nice articulation like Bumpy here does, because it just kind of becomes a figure that you can really nicely pose and display. As far as the size goes, for a length on Bumpy, you're looking at about 4.5 inches, or around the 11.5, maybe closing in on 12 centimeter range. And then for a height, you're looking at about 1.75 inches, or about 4.5 centimeters, maybe actually close to 5 centimeters, somewhere around there. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Ankylosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to our Bumpy figure. Next to these guys here, you can definitely see that Bumpy is quite small, but being a baby dinosaur, still sports some pretty decent size. But even for an Attack Pack, he is a bit smaller than most, as that's exactly what the Ankylosaurus right here is. But still an absolutely beautiful figure, and seeing just how small it is with as much detail as it has included, it is extremely impressive. So this Mattel Jurassic World Attack Pack Bumpy, the Camp Cretaceous Bumpy the Ankylosaurus, is a really, really nice figure. And if you are a fan of Bumpy from the show, which I definitely am because Bumpy is absolutely adorable, then this figure is pretty much a must-have if you ask me, because I've seen quite a few other variations of Bumpy so far, like the Snap Squad version. Then there was also that mini version that we had in the one multi-pack as far as the Camp Cretaceous figures go, but this is the first time I've gotten my hands on the Attack Pack version, and I can definitely say that this is the best version so far, and I really, really like the figure. It is beautifully sculpted, and as usual when it comes to a Mattel sculpt, it is very highly detailed, which is a plus whenever you are a collector like me. You don't want to have any type of cheap Hasbro-looking garbage like we had seen for the Jurassic World line. I definitely prefer these really nice, highly detailed, and quite accurate sculpts from Mattel, and you can see that's exactly what you get here with Bumpy, and an impressive amount of paint as well, actually. I mean, there's not too much as far as different tones of color or anything goes, but there's a lot of paint included. Like, you have some nice blue that runs down onto the legs, up on the head, and even out onto the tail, and that's just something that sometimes you tend to see missing from Attack Pack figures. So as far as this version goes, there's quite a bit of paint included, and I really love that aspect of the figure. And also those eyes are so beautifully done with that nice gloss coat over top and nicely placed and everything. Just a picture perfect looking eye for this type of dinosaur, and it's so realistic looking with the way it's glossed. You also have some fun articulation with Bumpy, but it's nothing over the top. But I really like the head sculpt and the articulation within, because you can move the neck around and kind of create a few different poses with Bumpy, which is definitely a huge plus. So as a whole, I think this figure is absolutely awesome, and I am super excited now to finally have the Bumpy Attack Pack figure in my collection. I'm pretty sure that the Targets have just started to recently kind of restock these in a little bit again, as they kind of went missing for some time there, but I've seen quite a few people posting that they've found them in their areas. They should be hopefully at your Targets sometime soon, so if you want to pick one of these up, make sure you head to your local Target and try to find one. Otherwise, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.